just one more final thing that I need to say. Should we have kind of some type of uh, sign for us, or can one of us be mindful? I have a timer here, so that when 20 minutes hits, like, okay, so let's talk about the runway if we haven't gone there already by then.
Yeah. I'll keep an eye on time for sure.
One eternity later.
All right. Welcome everyone to Broback Madness, or should I say Broback Dragness?
That's right.
Wow. Typically, Juan and I, we talk about music videos. It's a shared passion of ours, but we have a few shared passions. Several. We really like reality show competitions. And in particular, we like drag competitions. I don't really know too much about it, but I do appreciate the effort and stuff that goes in it. And I do like that there's a winner and a loser. That's always what makes me happy.
Worthy of noting that, one of us is gay, one of us is straight. I also don't know, or I don't do drag myself, but I really appreciate it and enjoy it. It's just really awesome that, this month we are getting La Más Draga Séptimo Sello and we're getting Dragula. So we thought, hey, let's take a little side turn and do our side quest, which is covering two of the most amazing drag shows that you will ever see. There's obviously more out there, but if you haven't seen them before, make sure you watch them. One is on AMC Plus, the other one's on YouTube, and not that they're paying us to say that, but they should. And are you ready to begin this, Craig? I just wanted to say that, the art is subjective and we are only gonna rate them as it relates to the challenge. That's actually from Dragula. And if you have not watched before, make sure you also watch with us, because, you can watch and give us your opinions.
Yeah, it's really good. Juan, he knows Spanish and he can answer to a lot of the cultural things, and including the language. My Spanish is abysmal. It's nothing there. But even then, I do have a very good time watching the show. It is very funny. It is very high quality, and we watch a lot of drag shows, including RuPaul's Drag Race. And no shade to RuPaul's Drag Race, I think La Más Draga and particularly Dragula, those are maybe two of the best, not even just drag shows, maybe reality competition shows, and maybe even some of the best TV I've ever seen in my life.
Shade, but with a compliment. We love that. And I do think we forgot to introduce ourselves, because we just said gay, straight, but I'm Juan, and I am your gay ambassador for our channel. And here's my co-host.
Yeah, and I'm Craig. I just got done finished watching the postseason baseball. Seattle just squeaked it past the Mariners, and it was a really great game. 3-2 win. I'm hoping for some really good baseball, as we all are, right, Juan?
That's what we can only hope for, right? So with that said,
let's talk about this episode. The first episode of the season. We enter with a really amazing, maybe the best beginning openings I've ever seen, with the introduction of the I think 3 teams, right? The 3 colors. And it just was very well produced.
Yeah, the promo had a lot of people talking. It was incredibly produced, and while there was suspicion that it was AI generated, the directors, they're very independent. Bruno and Carlo, they're the creators of La Más Draga, and they just showed us and shut us all up. They CGI directed it and added all the special effects. Really, really cool. So it'll be interesting to see if they're going to be able to keep up the ante, because for a first promo to episode, we'll talk a little bit more about it if we have more time, but I do feel that we have seen the budget go up a little bit, but then there's still little small things here and there, which we don't mean to be critical, but I mean, we definitely do. That's what we do, even though we don't have any qualifications.
No, we have no qualifications. We are not in the creative industry at all, but how easy is it to say, oh, you could do better at this, including production, a thing I've never done outside of a YouTube video. but there are some, I think, legitimate criticisms to be had on this type of professional product.
Sure, and I mean, I think that it's still worthy of saying that you can really enjoy something, but still kind of point out areas of improvement. And I mean, the one thing that I have to say about this series is you can really tell that the creators are very involved and they're listening to us. So I mean, I think it makes it very amazing. So without further ado, let's go ahead and begin with the episode. And as per customs, they're always behind some type of, I think the first season, and I don't know if you recall this, if you don't, totally fine, but in the first season, I swear to you, they were clothes hampers, like the cloth ones. So we've already like evolved from that. I don't know if they were just standard, not towels, but like blankets of sorts, but they look really cool and they matched their background set very nicely.
Yeah, let me pull up some pictures so we can get a better idea of what these are.
For those that are watching the YouTube on video, once again, thanks for tuning in and watching us. We will be covering these drag shows, La Más Draga, Séptimo Sello. To the left, you see the 6 past winners of La Más Draga. This is the 7th season, so this is the 7th seal, meaning, and maybe my co-host has more experience with the biblical aspect than I do.
It's the one thing I can actually talk about, I guess.
Yeah, do you want to share a little bit about that?
It's nothing. I think it comes from Revelations. I think it's one of the signs that, Jesus will come back. So it's very prophetic. There are, I think a lot of Mexico is probably Catholic, and there's a lot of religious imagery that I really appreciate. It's really interesting to see how they handle religion with this type of thing that I think is very a-religious.
Not to turn this into an NPR piece, but if NPR wants to feature it, then I'm not going to get mad. But you did bring up a very interesting point as it relates to Catholicism and imagery as it pertains. Like, there's an aspect of it that is very cultural. I'm sure you can attest from your past of what kind of that means in terms of what, where you come from. But like in terms of like Catholicism, there are a lot of people that are not like actively practicing, but there's always kind of like a lot of imagery that is very big. And I love that it has followed its way into drag, where it's like they're not being blasphemous. I mean, it depends. I guess there are those that probably will find offense, but I'm sure if you're finding offense to that, you're probably finding offense with the drag itself.
Yeah, you're probably not watching the show.
Yeah, you're probably not going to watch the show. So very, very cool. I really do hope that once the 7th seal, and what does this mean? Like, does the 7th seal broken? Does that mean like the apocalypse, the end of the world, or?
Yeah, maybe the final judge for the final episode will be like Satan himself or something, which would be pretty.
Or the winner of La Más Draga, which is crazy because if you watch RuPaul's Drag Race, and I want to be very clear, we're not bashing it. I'm a big fan of that show as well, but the winner just gets like $100,000 and like a year supply of Anastasia cosmetics, but here you get to judge. So like that will be really, really, really cool Judgment Day. So kudos to them for securing that. I don't know who they cleared it with though. To the right, you see the photo that goes over all the queens that have been selected. They all auditioned. Typically, if you are a member of the YouTube channel, you can see the auditions, and that's where you can kind of play the game of, I wonder who's going to make it to the season. And 14 were selected. We will talk about all of them in a moment, but I just want to kind of point out, and I will add a graphic, Craig, but there's one that is unusually taller, and it has already kind of started to make it its rounds on the memes for La Más Draga, where it's like, gee, we wonder which one Pati Piñata is, because she is
the second
yes, there's no way of hiding her. She is like in the Pokemon world, the Alolan Executor. I mean, I'm surprised she made it fully in the shot. She is a tall queen, or feminosa, but yeah. Anything to add to the very first thing? I mean, it's very standard to the show, but it just does look very nice. Like the background, you could tell that there was a lot of investment in the set this time around.
It is worthwhile to watch just from the set design perspective. It is strong choices that are really well executed. It is very colorful, very beautiful. It's always great. And then, there's some weird producing choices that are done throughout, including kind of this opening scene's a little dorky, but it is a nice way to introduce each of the characters one by one.
Yes, and actually, I probably we can move on, but I just wanted to go ahead and just quickly share that in the behind the videos, and I mean it's kind of scary, but they sequester each of them and they put them in different rooms before they actually see each other. So allegedly, this is the first time they actually have seen each other because they were blindfolded. They probably had an idea that they were already on there because a lot of the people that are looking for spoilers find like who's asking for like assistance with like materials and all that type of stuff before the season begins. But they don't know until this official moment.
Yeah, that's a lot like, Survivor, Big Brother, Amazing Race. That's exactly how it is. People can't, and those people have very strict NDAs, I'm sure. So it's, people are gonna leak these types of things. All right, let's move on to the next set of images in the continuation of the episode.
So again, once they all meet with each other, they're in what is known as a trajinera. A trajinera is basically, if you're familiar with the Xochimilco, where it's like one of the oldest lakes, and they have these like gondolas. Sometimes I think in English, sometimes I think in Spanish, so it takes me a little bit of a minute to kind of translate between both my entire life. But basically, they all introduce and they all do their promo looks, and here we have Greta Grimm as a koala, and just that's the type of drag that she does. To the right, we now have a new makeup studio or boudoir, and that is by Beauty Creations. I'm not really that familiar with makeup, but I did actually reach out to one of my sisters that is really into makeup, and she's quite familiar with it. So it's good to know that it has a name. She said that it's not like that big of a known brand, but it's nice that after I think they were previously sponsored by NYX Cosmetics, but
when they were opening the scene for the image on the right, I think you and I immediately text each other like, this is why this is a top tier show. It was very impressive. How many different, what are they called? Boudoir or like whatever, like makeup rooms or whatever, like from all these millions of different shows that we watch, like this is impressive.
It's impressive because it retains a lot of like their aesthetic and just the colorfulness of it. So yeah, it was beautiful. It was unexpected. Again, coming from the 6th season where they just put a couple mirrors, they did what they could. They're certainly showing that the budget has increased, and not just that it increased, because it's really easy to buy something and just for the sake of buying it, but you're seeing the directors put a lot more of their creativity into like the working space as well, which was greatly missing in previous seasons.
All right, introducing the first hosts of the show. There's a lot of people that are in this that are kind of hosting the show, but go ahead and speak about these two very loud characters.
And let me just tell you, if you think this is a lot of people on the panel and involved in all of that, there's a show called Morbi Drags, and it's supposed to be like Mexico's version of Dragula. Oh my goodness, like their first season, it was a whole school bus of people. It was very hard to keep track, but I'll help along the way if you've never watched. The first person we're looking here, blue beard and bald and fabulous as always, is Johnny Carmona. He was initially a judge, but he is the designated person that introduces the challenges. And to the right, we have the second season winner of La Más Draga, Alexis 3XL. So they have mini challenges. If you've never seen it, like before they go and do their final look on the runway, they make them do small little challenges. So Alexis 3XL is the host that kind of gives them what mini challenges they will be doing. And yeah, I don't
Yeah,
have
and I think they were the ones who introduced this thing where they had a board, and maybe you can explain it because my Spanish again not that great, but what I
Sure.
was not understanding was one, why is it taking so long, and two, why are they doing it this way? Can you explain what was happening with the board?
Yes, I can help with that. But it also felt long for me. That's one of the ongoing criticisms is that there definitely needs to be a lot more editing. There's
Yes.
actually a really funny meme from third season contestant Mistabu telling Carlo to edit things. So I might put it in the video. But anyway, the whole point being Alexis 3XL told the contestants that they were going to immediately have their mini challenge where there was a board and the board was randomized allegedly. Again, we don't know what the process was, but they went one by one, flipping each card with each of the 14 feminosas, letting them know like you're going to be lip singing against this other feminosa. And they went one by one. So it is definitely a choice to go one by one. I think
Yes.
maybe they could afford to. We got the gist of how you guys came up with the selection. And again, I'm not coming up with any rumors, though I am a very messy when I want to be. But you know, one or two, fine. But all like 7 pairs, it was a bit much. So I agree with
It
that.
also kind of didn't make sense because at a certain point they would rip off the name and it'd be like, okay, you're doing this song or whatever. And then you wouldn't even know who they're going against until maybe like several people later. I guess what it should have been is instead of revealing what the name of the song or whatever was, it should have been, okay, it's you versus you and you're doing this. Like that's maybe how they should have done it. Again, I agree with you on the editing. Pretty much the whole criticism that I have is edit. Sometimes less is more. Sometimes we don't need to know the whole how we got to this way. I call it gay rules. No shade, no shade to the
We're coming for you for that.
to the gays, but like while gay Juan, God bless his heart, he will come up with some games that are pretty fun and pretty interesting, but the path to get there, man, it's like, okay, wait, what do I have to do? It's like playing Magic the Gathering with layers, if you know what I'm talking about.
Well, we gays, we have layers. We're like onions. Or is that ogres? We're not ogres. Anyway, so yeah, I know, but like I don't know if it's a gay thing. Let us know in the comments if you think that it's like something particular, like if you're of the community. I am very long-winded myself, so I can kind of understand it. To get to an answer, sometimes it means I have to give you all the history behind it. So I get that, but when I'm watching, there are moments where I start to like, okay, I understood what was going on. Let's move on to the next thing, because realistically, I don't know if everyone had the attention span, but I love the show. I just think that the 2 hours were a bit much, and
I don't
a lot of them.
I think it was like close to 3. It was.
No, I think it started at 8 and then it ended like 10:30ish. So it was like a little more than 2 hours for sure. But the thing is, like, yeah, definitely editing goes a long way. So hopefully in the future, just for their consideration, not that they care, because you know, well, they really do listen to their fans and stuff. But all right, so moving to it, these are these two. But once this is done, and they didn't explain, by the way, what happened, but they had each of the queens select who they thought on each round would win. This kind of made it interesting, like politically, because a lot of the queens kind of said, and I don't know if you caught that, but a lot of them were like, we don't know if we should vote fairly or if we should vote like for someone that's my friend, even if they suck. So there's strategic, or as Mr. Jax Taylor from Vanderpump Rules says, strategery going on, and I do appreciate that.
That's funny that you. I thought strategery was a George W. Bush thing.
Jax Taylor in House of Villains season 1, excellent show. Check that one out too. We might cover season 3 when it comes out.
No, I'd love to cover season 1. That was maybe one of the best shows I've ever seen in my life. So good.
Absolutely. I mean, this is just a start. The possibilities are endless, and let's go ahead and talk about the judges, though.
Let's do it.
So we begin with the judges. Well, let's start with the host. The host is Karime Pinter. If you're not familiar with her, Jersey Shore, it decided to expand. It's like it didn't just expand to what was it called, Floribama Shore. It expanded to different countries, one of them being Mexico. And so Mexico's version was Acapulco Shore. So Karime Pinter is from there, but she was also on the Mexican version of Big Brother called La Casa de los Famosos. A lot of people have really liked her. I guess she's very charismatic. She was also on a show called All Star Shores, where a bunch of people from different versions of Jersey Shore competed. It was kind of like the challenge. Pretty good show, actually. And each season, La Más Draga brings in a new host, so it's never going to be hosted by the same person. So we do begin with her.
Who's your favorite host so far?
I want to say fourth season, Roberto Carlo has. I know a lot of us tend to be very critical in the very first episode because we'll always try to like compare it to the person before. I do feel that the nurse maybe got to Karime Pinter on the first episode. I felt she was a little bit nervous on the runway in the beginning part of it, which kind of made the beginning part feel a little bit not as polished as the rest of the episode. Yeah. But this is no shade to her. I just think that, you know, everybody starts somewhere, and maybe she hasn't hosted a lot. I could be wrong about that, but favorite host is Roberto Carlo from the fourth season. I think he's incredible, and it's unfortunate that people cannot repeat being hosts, because I would have liked to see him repeat, but it's okay, because every season is an opportunity to kind of get a new person, a new face, a new perspective. So we'll see what Karime Pinter does. If I had to grade her hosting, and you tell me what you think, but I will give her a solid C for, you know, she definitely displayed effort, but I could tell that, you know, the energy was still not there. But I'm hopeful that in the next episodes that will pick up.
Yeah, no, she started off pretty sketchy. Like, I think we were texting each other like, oof, this is kind of rough. But she kind of picked up rather quickly.
Yeah.
And she was warming up really, really well. So I think she'll be a very, very good host. That's kind of the downside of the way they do it, where it's a new host every season. They don't really let someone kind of like get in the groove. But it happens every time I've seen the show, where it's like the first couple episodes, I'm like, who is this person? Why do I care? Whatever. What are your credentials? They're so stilted. And then eventually they're like really, really good. And like they really take hold of it. I wish they would maybe keep, this is a mild criticism, because I do like seeing new people, but it would be nice if they had a standard host every time too.
That's true. The only thing is that, like, I guess because now it's become tradition to not, that's where it gets a little bit tricky.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. Just to briefly add to Karime Pinter, I think she did warm up when she was sitting down, but maybe it was like the prompter or something, but it felt like she was like one of us at an optometrist appointment as she was trying to read the words, and it was rough. We were all a little bit worried in the beginning, but yeah, maybe when she sat down, it was a little more lax and she could be more casual. So let's start with the very first new addition, judge. We have a new judge replacing Raquel Martinez. She, I want to say, served on the panel for 2 to 3 seasons. So we have Natalia Sosa. I'll admit, I don't know too much about her other than what I initially kind of researched on her. I guess she's like a Broadway star. She does a lot of that. So that's her background. I feel she had a lot of opinions.
She references it a lot, and she likes showing that she knows how to sing.
Yeah, that's true. She definitely had a lot of opinions, which I think is great, because I mean that's what essentially we're doing. Sorry, I have to connect my battery.
To your laptop?
Yes. Yeah, so I think it's really important to have someone very opinionated. I don't know if her opinions are just because she's scared of people coming after her on the first episode, because even though she had like a lot of opinions, they were very neutral. And I'm like, okay, if you're gonna like spend a good chunk giving your opinions, like maybe it's okay, like go for it, just go for it. And I was waiting for her to like rip some of them a new one, and she didn't. So a little bit disappointed there, but
He did make her stamp. She had her opinion said a lot, to the point where I'm like, okay, because I mean, I'm going to be partial to Latal, right? That's the person in the top right,
Natalia, yeah.
who has been there since the beginning. I mean, ever since.
Oh, Letal. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, and to the point where I'm like, is Latal in the season? Like, why are we only hearing from the gal in the white? Like, it was just an interesting choice. But I guess I'd rather have someone who's constantly trying to do something rather than just sitting back and then like peppering in a comment or two.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I mean, it was a weird choice. We'll talk about Letal in just a second. We'll just go into Yari Mejia. I'm just going to say with Yari Mejia, they cannot get rid of this woman. She is very important to the show, from singing the songs for them. She brings some of the humor. Much like Letal, she's essential. I felt she was a little reserved, but I mean, no complaints about Yari. I think she is comfortable. She should continue to be on the panel. She's a makeup artist as well, so I'm not too concerned about her being there. I think she did a good job, but maybe Natalia and Karime's issue is that was their first episode, so we just have to kind of get used to a bit of the change. So anything on Yari, or do you want to just move on to Letal?
No, she's been there before. I always like what she does. She's great.
And she didn't have a couple seasons ago, she had a cold almost the entire season.
Yes.
And her voice eventually she couldn't even talk. So, I mean, I did appreciate that she was not sick this season. And
Yes, that's
because it was sad. It was sad watching her, like, having to work while being sick. It's like, can she telework or, like, you know, do something? Because, like, it was just sad. But you talked about Letal, but let's talk about the middle person, or the guest judge. Each season they have a guest judge. In this case, it was Miss Wendy Guevara, winner of La Casa de los Famosos Mexico. Wendy Guevara was a YouTuber, or is, I don't think she's a YouTuber anymore, but her and the dolls, she's one of the dolls. They were a collective group called Las Perdidas. And she won Mexico's heart. She won Big Brother, and that marked the first time a trans woman ever won big reality TV show in Mexico. So she won audiences' hearts, and she's very charismatic. You know, if she's been on La Más Draga before too, so it's not like the first time she's, you know, stumbled upon the community of like feminosas and stuff. But I just don't know. Maybe they could have, especially for a first episode, gotten someone that consumes it a little bit more, because you can kind of tell she doesn't. And maybe she could have come in a challenge where there's more personality, because that's like her thing, like just doing comedy and that type of stuff. Because we also didn't get to see her strengths be displayed as well. So I feel like she was kind of a, not mistake, but like on this episode, but I would have brought a different guest judge, if, you know.
Yeah, maybe it's just episode 1 jitters. Maybe that's what we got going here.
That's a really good way to say it. I 100% agree with that. So, and you know, it's funny because sometimes we will debate. We do rate music videos, and we will be on completely opposite ends. But you know, we were in a lot of agreement via our text conversation.
Yes.
So we actually have receipts to show that.
This time we do, yes.
Yes. That's not always going to be the case. So you want to stick around, because we're not afraid to shy away from having individual opinions, for sure. Yeah. But let's move on to Letal.
Letal. Isn't that her thing? She always says like the person's name 3 times. I always really like that.
Yeah. She has a lot of sayings. She's very iconic. Very funny. I felt she was a little bit shy this episode, but she did say her usual thing, which has become an area that a lot of people roast for Letal, which is, I don't feel that I'm in insert season that it is. In this case, it was 7th season, that I'm in the 7th season, because she was just not surprised by the runway. She was just not happy with it. So I really do appreciate that that's become a Letal thing, and you know her to be very consistently that way. But also she's an incredible judge, where she will give very technical feedback with makeup. I know sometimes it's drag the way that she wants them to do it, but I mean, she is great. I felt like she held back, but maybe it was because they were at hour, I don't know, 9, hour 10, and they're like, all right, we ran out of time for you. But I think I would have maybe wanted to see less of cards being flipped and a little bit of Natalia's judging condensed a little bit and seeing a little bit more of Letal. But I think they're doing that to the audience on purpose because they know that Letal is, just very big to the show.
Right. Speaking of part of the show, we have 3 pieces of eye candy that are in the bottom right. Juan, if you want to speak about these.
Yes, we have 3 pieces of eye candy. We have from left to right, we have Toxico, who can get it. Toxico is just one of the most beautiful men there are out there. And if you follow us on Twitch, I tell you guys just how it is, who I would want in a train that runs through me at this point. My co-host can vouch for me, but the train is long. We're not talking like the Metrolink that passes by near-ish where we live.
No
doxing,
please.
No, I'm not doxing us. We're talking about like the most giant train with cabooses, that cargo out there. So I would say the specific place, but I'm not gonna dox us. Anyway, moving on. So Toxico can get it. I am so obsessed with him. He's just got so much talent, and I know what you're thinking. Yes, I need that kind of talent.
Yes, homie is packing.
Yeah, so it's just a lot of talent there. Moving on, next to him we have Veneno. Veneno is a straight man, so for all you single ladies or those that are not-single, and if you're building a train with me, he is there. He is from Netflix's Too Hot to Handle. So, if you're into guys with tattoos and nipple piercings, he's your kind of guy. And if neither of these two are your type of guy, we have Venenito to your right. He's a good sport, and I don't know if a lot of people out here watch like variety shows, but like it's a big thing in the Latino community. We definitely embrace our LPs, little people in our community. And Benenito, he is very much a big piece of La Mas Draga. He helps, I would say he's probably the pitman crew that is used the most. He's always helping our queens on the runway.
I will say that is kind of a difference between something like this and RuPaul's Drag Race, or even Dragula, is that these 3 characters are featured prominently throughout the runways. They're often acting in it or doing something as part of it, and they do a lot of the heavy lifting. It's a really interesting way to use them, whereas like maybe RuPaul's Drag Race will use them to like hold up a card or like do something like a skit maybe in their kind of like challenge portion, but these men are used throughout the episode,
especially Venenito.
That's the kind of the essence of the episode, and then we'll start going into the characters themselves. Is there anything about the episode that you want to get into before we get into the contestants themselves?
So if you find yourself wanting to watch or get into this show or whatever the case is, I mean, if anything, just the runway alone is
the runways are absolutely worth it. I would agree. I think Survivor this season specifically, season 49 had this issue where if you were kind of following along, like doing the auditions and all that type of thing before, the first episode was kind of pointless. It was introducing you to characters that you maybe already knew. So I think that this also kind of suffered from that same type of a thing where there was nothing really new to those who were maybe fans of the show, but it still was an okay job, and the runway was great.
We're gonna have to talk about that later. I don't want to take more of that time, but I'm like, I didn't know that they did auditions that you saw, but okay. I'm watching Survivor this time around.
Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah, maybe we'll do this for Survivor, but right. Okay, so before we talk about our contestants, we did have a very interesting theme, and I thought it was a very interesting theme for the very first episode. Juan, do you want to explain what the theme was for the runway?
Yes, so each runway, Joni Carmona, our bald and blue bearded man, professor, host-ish, because he's not a host, introduces what the theme of the challenge is going to be. And this one is La Más Guelaguetza. For those that don't know, and I wasn't too familiar before because my family is not from Oaxaca, so I didn't know, but it's essentially Oaxaca is split into 8 regions. And of those 8 regions, there is a celebration that happens where they pay homage to each region. Each region has its, native folklore outfit, both for men and women. So that was essentially the gist of the challenge.
Yeah, I was trying to think of it like put it into terms of like an American thing, and I guess there would be things of like maybe something in Texas I'd be familiar with, like if it was like
Sure.
rodeo or something. Like even though I'm from the west side of the United States, it's like okay, I'm somewhat familiar with that, but I did think it was such a specific regional choice that that was a little strange.
Well, fair to say that. I think it's just Oaxaca. Well, a lot of parts of Mexico are very like full of different culture. I'm not going to dox myself by saying this, but my family is from Guanajuato. So when I talked about it with my mom, she was mentioning that there's like an equivalent festival, and it's just I guess strictly toward the region because again, there's very you're right when you bring up like different states. It's kind of like that. Like you have a traditional. I guess it's not as embedded, but like you would know like oh this food is like more so from this state than another. So there's a whole lot of culture accompanying, and I think Oaxaca has in many ways preserved a lot of the indigenous culture, and so that is a lot of like what La Más Draga pays a lot of homage to. Not the only thing, so I think that's why they kind of went with that direction. There's a lot of though like colonial references too, but I mean I think just to kind of do something different, they wanted to kind of really pay Oaxaca an area where there is still a lot of indigenous culture and a lot of people still speak their native language, something I'm very jealous of. There's a lot of like Maya dialects and Aztec dialects, so that I think that's more or less why they did it.
I like that it was unapologetically Mexican. I think that's an amazing choice, and I think that's really cool. I do think it's an interesting choice in that, like, if this was a purely, like, if it was Drag Race Mexico, I could see that being like, okay, it is what it is. But this has international appeal. That's people from the U.S. enjoy it, and there's even contestants not from Mexico that are on this cast. So it was a weird choice in my opinion, but I think it paid off in that like it kind of didn't matter what the theme was to me because a lot of these looks were good, including our first contestant here, Excel DeVille. What did you think of this? Am I even saying the name right?
You're totally fine. Like I think it's most of them will be very happy for the coverage and all that, and they deserve that and all the coverage they can get because they are very incredibly talented. But yeah, Excel DeVille is, the makeup is very polished. I'm not an expert in makeup, but I like what I see. I like what I see in her eyes. Like there's so much detail in her makeup. I want to say that like in seeing her promo look and this, I really like her so far. I feel that like if I had to grade her just on this look in the runway, I'm gonna go ahead and give her an A. I want to say an A+. It's just a really strong look for me. It was a really great way to start the runway too.
Yeah, it was a kind of unfortunate just for almost the other contestants that came after, because the first grade I gave was like, this seems like a B+, but I don't know. It seems like we're starting off very, very strong. I wouldn't go as far as an A+. I would say an A. I think it was a good look. It was a really great way to start the season. So, yeah. Anything else on this contestant?
No, I think that's fair. An A is an A, although I really do think that eye makeup is just so stunning, and she keeps showing. I think in her promo look, it was more to favor the red and white, but here she showed like she incorporated it into like the full folklorico kind of look, and it just looks so effortless and it's so uniquely to her. So I don't know, really like it. I'm really excited to see what she has to offer in the next episode.
Awesome. All right, let's see who's next. All right, next up we have Brighty Stun. Go ahead and talk about this contestant.
So you mispronounced it. No, I'm just kidding. It's actually Briti Stun. No, I'm just kidding. Her name is Brighty Stun. One of the only ones that has an English name, by the way. We started very mild, but we have to really be critical because after I just graded Axel Deville for her look, really, really good. It's not the worst look, but when you zoom in on the face, it looks like someone just like hit the powder like and she just did not like blend it. So the makeup on the face is just not, I feel, up to par with the previous contestant. I'm gonna start her with a B minus because I do like the overall thing around her. Like the outfit is nice, but there was like this meme already about her being sponsored by powdered donuts, and you know, it's a fair thing to say because but and this is the last thing I'll say, and then I'll hand it to you. But I just wanted to say, in all fairness, she's acknowledged that she's not very polished, which I don't know if it's a good thing because if I were rejected from the show for someone that's still working on getting a little bit their makeup, getting better at it, I'd be a little bit offended. But I think she got in because of her personality, because she did say once she learns how to do her makeup better, it's over for everyone. And then she's
hey, well, I like someone that knows their weaknesses. Yeah, speaking of the makeup, it reminds me of the Simpsons episode, which I don't think you're a big Simpsons guy, but Homer invented a shotgun that he pointed
I know the episode.
and Marge's face and shoots it. And it looks almost exactly like this. I'm gonna give it a C. It's fine. It was good. All right. Next up, we have Calypso. Very huge headpiece with kind of not really much going on underneath. I'll give my grade. I did give this a B minus. I thought it was fine, not as good as that's kind of where I'm saying, like the beginning of with what's her face with
Axel Deville.
It was such a strong beginning. It's like, okay, this is the standard. Are you better or worse than that? And it seemed like a lot of people were not as good as that. So I'm giving a B minus to this. Where are you at?
Sure. So I when you said nothing in the bottom, folks, if you haven't seen this, she did have pants below. Just want to throw that out there and clarify that, because when Craig said that, immediately I'm like, whoop, she's Winnie the Poohing it. But I do like the upper part, but I felt it wasn't very cohesive at the bottom. I'm gonna go ahead and actually agree with my co-host, B minus. I think this was one of the ones that we probably did grade exactly the same, almost at the same time.
Yeah.
I just want to bring up one little interesting fact about her. She is the what's it called? House is now called Casa de Arte, but it was formerly known as the House of Seafood. So if you're coming from House of Seafood, Seafood kind of has spoiled us, where we're expecting something like this, and to get this is not bad. Again, she did a really good job, but I was expecting a little bit more. Now, I will say she's not from Mexico, and specifically Oaxaca, so she's from Chile, and that might mean that it's a little bit harder, but so she didn't do bad. I really don't want to say that by any means, but I was expecting more, especially from someone from the house known formerly as House of Seafood.
Right. All right, awesome. Let's go to the next one. Next up, we have Caos Lascivia.
There you go. You said it right.
Wow, good for me.
This is like a Duolingo lesson.
Seriously. I gave this effort a C. Again, I thought it was just fine. I think it did. I think it maybe would have scored a little bit more, but the reveal I have as a note was pretty lacking on this one. Where are you at on this one?
Folks, I do want to start by saying that it's not like hell has frozen over, but I do agree with Craig once again. It's a C. For me, it's a C because she brought this prop that was like a snake, and I thought she was going to do more, but she didn't really do a whole lot. The makeup is good, but I don't know if like the whole outfit or atuendo was like compared to the other ones that we've already talked about there. And if you're gonna feature a prop as a snake, and I think she featured Toxico, so like my favorite pit crew person, you should have shown his trouser snake. Like that was like a missed opportunity because like she played with like that like fake snake. I would have like painted his trouser snake, and then yeah. But
honestly, yes. If you would have done that, that would have been very impressive. So okay, anything else here, or should we move on to
the next?
Next, let's do it. All right, next up we have Detox Alanis. Where are you on this one? Let's hear you say your opinion.
Detox Alani, she's one of the dolls, and I wasn't sure from her promo to here what we were gonna get with her because I do feel that her promo wasn't one of my favorites. However, she proved me wrong because I feel like with the runway, I really saw what she was doing. I didn't like the pineapple that she came out of. I really felt like she could have left that out. But the look itself, she followed the prompt really, really good. And there's almost something so campy about it because then she kind of made it like, sexy in her own way, which we already know that's probably not how it's done traditionally. But I have to say, she was actually kind of one of my favorites. I'm not going to give her an A+, but I will give her an A-. I think she had great makeup, the beaded outfit. A lot of indigenous groups do a lot of like beads, just to make that a top. So cool.
I guess this is where we're first gonna have some deviation. I thought it was fine. I thought it was a C. I don't have anything really that. I didn't think anything really that special of it. I do have high expectations of this contestant. I'm not sure why.
Well, she is very, she's definitely very personable and one of the standouts, definitely got a lot of the airtime. I liked it. I feel the hair, the beads and stuff really follow like I saw it without even knowing which region it comes from. So the incorporation of the pineapple, I think the only thing that I did not like was the pineapple that she came out of.
All right. Next up, we have Greta Grimm. I feel like this contestant is your partner / my brother. This is who I envision is underneath this very intense makeup, very animal version. I'll just say what my score is. I think this is an A. It's a choice. It's consistent. You know who it is when this person's coming up. I guess I'm a little afraid of throughout the season when it's like, okay, we've seen this before, but how do you get there by doing the same type of thing every time and like echoing what has been done before. So, but right now it's really, really good. And I hope that this contestant can continue. I think it's so good. This was the one where I think they had some sort of prop that the three pit crew members, do they have a name, the three of them?
What, the three of them? No, it's just Toxico, Veneno,
okay.
Veneno Jr.
Whatever the three...
Venenito, I mean, not Veneno Jr.
Whatever the three people are called, the people who help and or whatever. There was some sort of prop where like in the name of the paper that was one of the items, it had Greta Grimm's name on it, which was very impressive. Very a little subtle thing, but it paid off for me in a major way. So I say it's an A. What about you?
I'm glad you pointed out those attention to details. Actually, there's just a few things that I want to say. She is my favorite koala. The promo was stunning. I do want to say that she's talked about her drag as it like relates to, like she said, she can do it all. She is when she auditioned. Just want to give a little bit of context here. She auditioned kind of accepting the role of furra, which is the Spanish word for furry. And I love that she embraces it. I love also, by the way, she is a very intelligent person outside of drag. She is a biochemistry graduate. So very, very cool, very creative. As my co-host mentioned, the attention to detail is on another level. We haven't seen this type of drag ever on any of the shows, so to see it like this, it's really exciting because it's like, what is she going to do next week? What is she going to do next week? And she just keeps pulling looks. And last week, or she started being a koala, now she is like a lizard of some sort, and she tied it to the challenge. So that's not an easy thing to do. And like you said, the papel picado, incredible to put her own name. And then she did a nod, she put a squirrel because in her audition she was a squirrel. So like, it's all those little attention to details. This makes me want to give her an A+. I'm really excited. She's really challenging the notion, I think, that a lot of people think that drag is. She is making it campy, she is making it fun. I don't understand how she's able to have such good makeup skills and work around prosthetics, but she does, and she is delivering.
All right, next up we have Connie Cortez with 2 Ks. I'll give my grade here. I have this as a drum roll. Just kidding. C. It was the only note I have here is it was again fine, but the face was, there was a lot of face acting, and I think the face makeup was particularly good. That's pretty much all I have for this. But what do you think, Juan?
I will go ahead and give it a C, but my reason for a C is just we saw her throughout the entire episode, and it's been very repetitive, and it's not even the same color. I like it, but what else? Because unlike Greta Green, I feel like it has been copy paste, and so I want to see what she brings, because this red demon look has been seen. Also, I don't know how it ties to folklorico. Maybe the hair and the wigs, but it felt like repetitive.
Yeah, that was my fear throughout going through this whole episode as well, was like, maybe there's something I'm missing, which is more for the next contestant. Let's go there so I can get
yeah. But we're sorry, but I am excited to see her next episode. I just change it up. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
I agree. All right, next up we have Moon. It was a well-executed look, but this is where I'm kind of getting to what I was alluding to before, where I think there's something I'm missing, and I think this is maybe where the cultural changes or something cultural was happening. I didn't really understand what was going on, and I ended up just not liking it. I thought it was an okay look, but what do you think, Juan? I gave it a C.
This is one of our international queens. She's from Colombia, so it's always going to be a little bit harder. Having said that, we did see what Calypso do a look too. I should mention Caos is also not from Mexico. He's from Venezuela. So sorry about that. I didn't mean to not acknowledge that. Having said that, I know Moon is not really being well received for this look. I actually didn't mind it. I think there's something, but I think it has to do with my own personal biases. I love a good juxtaposition. I like the play between femininity and something kind of monster-like. So for me, it was kind of cool because it was just so weird, but also like we can't see her leggings, but they were very kind of pretty. So there was almost kind of like, oh, she's like a critter, but also very feminine, and I like that balance. But I know that with a lot of people, they're probably gonna agree with Craig, like it wasn't like their favorite. I actually liked it. I didn't like how she walked the runway, but I didn't mind it so much. Now, because I'm not very well versed in the culture, maybe I missed something, but I'm gonna go ahead and give her a B+. I liked it, if I'm being honest.
B+. Okay, yeah. To me, it's it kind of looks like I know you're not an SNL guy, Saturday Night Live guy, but Kristen Wiig did this thing where she was, one of 4 sisters, and she had these little baby arms and like a bald head, and she was like, kind of a special weirdo outcasty girl who would sing songs. Kind of looks like that to me, but so well, we'll see how.
She gives Dragula vibes. She's just doing it colorful, but I do think because she's weird, and I think we'll see maybe her strengths come out in the upcoming episodes. But let's go on to next.
All right, let's go on to the next one.
She needs to be dragged a little bit.
What's your score?
So this is the first time I'm gonna pull a C-. I did not like it. It's nothing personal. I actually liked Oslo's audition a lot, but what she's given, even in the promo, I'm not really sold on her. I think he's a cutie outside of drag, and I think he deserves more than just being judged what he looks like outside of drag. But so far, the looks that he's brought, I'm not a fan of it. I feel like I'm not really seeing his personal drag in it, nor am I really seeing much of anything other than a really pretty folklorico dress put on. And then the makeup is very, I don't know, maybe it's just not my type of makeup. Maybe this is like the equivalent to Moon for you, but I didn't like it. I haven't liked any of her looks so far. I really hope I like being wrong about people, but so far haven't been impressed. She's the Feminosa that I've been the least impressed with, and I hope she turns it around. I really do. I want to like her. I just haven't liked her look so far on the show so far.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. I think the costume, to me, it's like, okay, I go to a costume store and I could probably get something like this. It seems like a stock costume, and I agree. I think the makeup is particularly bad. Okay. Next up, we have Rikura Santana. I'll say my score. I said C, very close to a B. Kind of suffering from the same problem as the last contestant. I think the drag was not really making that much of a choice. I do think the face acting and the way her face looks is particularly powerful. I think if she leans into that a little bit more, I think she'll be successful. What are your thoughts on this contestant?
I like her confessionals, like outside of drag. I think she's very funny and personable, but the look I'm not that crazy about. I feel similarly with like the previous Oslo, but at least there's a little bit of performance in it. There's a little bit something more, so I'll agree with you and also give her a C. But I don't know. I want to see more. I hope that if she stays longer, we see more facets, because right now she and Oslo kind of feel like they're not up to par with everybody else.
Yep, I'd agree. All right, let's move on to the next. All right, next up we have Tulsa. Help me with his last name.
Walpurgis.
Okay, there you go. I have this as a B in my notes. I'm not particularly sure why. I'm guessing that the runway was maybe pretty impressive or something like that. Looking at this photo, I almost don't remember this at all. But what are your thoughts on this? Kind of a weird time to give a B. Like so far I've given a lot of C's and not that many high scores, and this is one of the higher scores, and I'm not too sure why. Where are you at?
Well, Craig is dragging all our feminosas. Just remember, I love them all. No,
He's great.
They all did good, but this is what it's about, just kind of giving our honest opinions. And of course, we recognize that we are not qualified, but we're still going to give, we have an opinion, like all of you guys do, I'm sure. But that being said, I actually liked the look. I think if there was something that I remember, it was just I wasn't that blown away by her actual runway, but the look itself was good. I will give it a B-. I just want to say that I feel like she's getting a lot of the not winners edit, because I feel they're gonna just push her to go to the finale only to lose. But there's a lot of confessionals. She got the immunity. Sorry, I should put spoiler alert, immunity, because people voted for her to be the favorite. But I don't know. She's from the House of Black and White, where Paper Cut is from. And just like I said about Calypso, I'm not necessarily Paper Cut's first floor show. I was blown away. I don't know if I'm blown away with this, so I'm going with B-. I like the makeup. I like the outfit is a little bit unique. I don't recall her runway being very good, but
Yeah,
I didn't think she was bad.
in my notes for her runway specifically, I think I scored the look immediately, and that's kind of how I was doing it when we were texting each other. And then later on, like right when she was returning back to the opening spot, she tripped on her dress, and I'm like, oh,
That's right.
do we count this against her? Like, I don't even know. I guess the score is kind of like a overall kind of a look score, but I don't know. I don't know why I'm so nervous to give this B, but it is what it is. So, all right, let's move on to the next contestant. All right, next up, Candela Yeye. You go with your score first.
Okay, I'm gonna give her a B. I think I gave her a C plus, but I'll give her a B minus. I do appreciate that there's like some kind of performance with it and a reveal, and I want to say Candela Yeye, and this is kind of what factors into the B for me, but I'm taking into account that she was the person that most excited me in the lip sync battle because everybody else felt a little like the energy felt a little lukewarm. So I want to see a little bit more of Candela Yeye. I still don't know who she is in terms of her drag, but it's an okay look with a better performance than look. So I'm giving her a B.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. I think the performance and the way she acted in her runway was very, very good, and the look complemented that in a nice way, but wasn't what made the score be that great. So I gave a B. Let's move on to the next contestant. Next up, we have Patty Pinata. I gave this contestant a B. My notes had nothing to do with the look or the runway. All I said was, I said I like the look.
Okay, let me just start with Pati Piñatas. The picture that you're seeing here on the screen, you can barely see her, but she barely fits through the door. She is incredibly tall.
Yeah.
She's really, really, really tall. I think Pati Piñata is one of those that people were shocked even decided to compete because Pati Piñata is known very well in the drag community. She is incredibly, and when I say incredibly creative, she not necessarily sewing. She does like non-conventional materials type of items and props for past seasons of La Más Draga. So for past winners, she's created the crown that they win, the little staff scepter thing that they get. So she is, if anybody recalls Rebel Mork's final look that won him the show, that was like a alebrije / grasshopper. Pati Piñata made it by hand. So she is incredibly, incredibly crafty. Having said that, we have to talk about what she does behind the scenes versus in front of the scenes. I think I was kind of excited as I saw her look, but then I felt like the runway was a whole different thing. I wanted to see more than just kind of like moving from side to side with her wig just kind of moving all over the place. So when she was done, I felt like that's it. So I wasn't mad about her look as much as I guess it built up to almost nothing at the end. So for that reason and that reason alone, I'm giving Pati Piñata a C plus. I like her. I want to see the talent that I know she has to like do things in the back scenes. I don't know if her coming into a competition we're going to be able to celebrate and enjoy her the way that we do for a lot of the things that she does on the back ends, because she is like what Victoria Elizabeth Black is to Dragula, but for like just drag in general. She's known.
Got it. Okay. All right. Last but certainly not least, we have Nyla Downs. Probably the best look of the evening. A great way to end. It's a clear A. Love religious imagery. You're gonna get a lot of points with me if you have any sort of religious imagery. The way the acting where she's praying in front of it, it was really, really great. This is like if you were to like show one contestant to kind of get them into the like, all right, this is what this is what La Mas Draga is all about. I think that's this runway specifically is what you show. It was a really incredible moment. What do you think?
Absolutely. Go ahead and put me for an A. And while you're doing that, I just want to say that Nyla Downs is an artist in every sense of the word. She is a painter, so I am very convinced she handcrafted a lot and painted a lot of her props and everything by hand. So it was really exciting, and it was just topped off with fireworks, and
Yes.
that was really, really, really cool because when they set off, it was very unexpected. Her bowing down to pray to the Virgen was just really, really, really cool. Yeah, it was just what a way to close the runway. I'm so excited to see more of her.
All right. Great way to end the episode. Any closing remarks on this or how the episode ended or the winner or anything like that?
Yeah, just to recap it all, I think the runway was really, really cool. Even the ones that we kind of rated lower, they all did really good. I think it's off to, they've had past seasons where it wasn't the case. For this, I think it was really exciting. I think we talked about it really early on with Craig, but I do think that editing will help take this show to an even higher level. But we're off to the races. I think it's not that this is Drag Race where they actually physically race. No, I'm just kidding. It's just they're off to a really solid episode. Let's hope they can keep the momentum. We're really excited to cover the next episode. If you haven't watched it before, you should. If you need captions, they're always available the next day. There is a person specifically that does their physical captions for them. Again, they're independent. They don't have a big company behind them to help them do that. So that's why things take a little bit longer. But after almost a year being gone, welcome back, La Mas Draga. And so excited for this season. And you want to add anything else? I was like,
no, thanks everyone for watching.
These are going to be just a series of videos. We really love combining our passions. We love watching reality TV. La Mas Draga was just such a fun one that we are both really into, but there will be other shows, so stay tuned. If you were unaware, or even if you were, we are also on Twitch on Bro Brack Madness. This is where we rate music videos in the biggest tournament of music videos to find the ultimate best music video. Please follow us so that you can join us live and join the conversation. We're really excited when new people join us. It's a fun community, so check us out. Craig, anything to add?
Nope. Thanks everyone for watching. Bye y'all.